After the hook, the next section of the introduction is the context or background. And as you can see from this picture, it's probably going to be the longest section of your introduction. The context is sandwiched in between the hook and the claim. I've already picked a hook, so I've written it down, and I'll have my claim statement written at the bottom. Now I need to teach the reader something about the problems with water bottles that would lead people to have a debate about banning them. So now I need my background and context. Why is it so bad that there are 50 billion water bottles sold per year? I'm always thinking about setting up my argument, and that the first reason that I'm going to talk about in my argument is about wasting resources. So I need to set my reader up by talking about how that's a lot of money to waste for all those bottles, and how those bottles make a lot of trash. So I'm going to say, consumers spend billions of dollars every year on bottled water and generate tons of plastic waste in doing so. Remember, I'm not going to use the word tons just to mean a lot, but here there really are tons, meaning units of 2,000 pounds of waste. Next, I'm going to point out that these facts I've mentioned have stirred a debate. I'm going to name what the debate is about. I'm going to say this fact has raised a debate about whether we need to reduce our use of single-serving plastic bottles. Next, I'm going to say a little bit about what each side of the debate thinks. I'm going to do this in big picture terms. I'm not yet using evidence or getting into the details, big ideas only. This is the some people say, other people say part of the introduction, but I'm going to identify which side I'm starting with by saying advocates, or people for banning. Advocates of banning the sale of single-use bottles argue that not only are resources wasted making and buying plastic containers, but also the disposal of beverage bottles is polluting the environment. Note that I'm tracking the arguments that I am going to make in my claim preview and in the arguments I'm going to use in my body paragraph. I'm talking about wasting resources, including the environment, and those are up here in my introduction also. I haven't introduced my third idea, the health risks of water bottles. And I think my readers will be surprised by this claim, because I think most people think of water as healthy. This is going to be the big counterclaim that I'll need to address. Why isn't water the healthy option? So I'm going to give some of the others say part of my introduction, but then I'm going to respond with my rebuttal idea about why water bottles might not be healthy. So I'm going to say, in addition, although many people believe bottled water is a convenient, healthy option, that's the other people say part, there may be hidden health risks in plastic packaging. Again, I'm not giving my evidence or my details on that. I'm just suggesting it might be true. I'll need to prove that in my body paragraphs. At the top of the paragraph, I talked about the debate being about whether to reduce our use of water bottles, but I haven't mentioned anything about banning them. One of the ways of reducing them is to ban their sale. Of course, we could also recycle and some other options, but I'm suggesting banning, and so I need to bring it up. I'm going to say, because of these problems, several cities and the US government have already experimented with banning the sale of bottled water. I want people to know this is not a new idea that I'm proposing. It's been in effect. Now I need to make a bridge to my claim. Some people say, other people say. Now here's what I say. I need to set up my claim that we in Seattle should ban the sale of plastic water bottles. So I'm going to say, here in Seattle, where we have a clean, safe public water supply, it's time to ban water bottles too. So here's my completed introduction. It has a hook in purple. It has some context in orange. It's the bulk of the paragraph. I have several parts to this. I named the big problems. I said that there was a debate and what the debate was about. And then I gave different viewpoints. Some people say, other people say. After that, I had a little transition sentence to my claim. which is we should stop selling single-serving plastic water bottles in Seattle because they waste resources, pollute our environment, and pose risks to public health. My next step is to look at my word choice. I might do things like changing the beginning of that claim to say we should ban the sale of single-serving plastic water bottles because that's a little more academic, but basically my introduction is done. Please remember that while your introduction is a roadmap for the rest of your essay, you shouldn't explicitly announce or specifically announce what and how you will be arguing. You're not going to say, I'm going to prove to you that, or in this essay you will read about. You don't use the word I at all. We assume that this whole essay is your thinking. You don't need to tell us that. This type of setup doesn't add any pertinent information and only serves as filler. So leave these little phrases out and you'll have a great introduction. It's your turn. By the end of the period, you should have an introductory paragraph for your essay written in your notebook. I look forward to reading them.